Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
All right, let's talk some Mammoth hockey. Joining us now from the Mammoth broadcast, and he's kind enough to jump on our show once a week. He's our buddy Nick Olczyk. Hello, Nick.
Jake and Ben, great to be with you boys, and looking forward to a big day and a much-needed win tonight against Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals.
I feel like we can officially call the Mammoth a Utah team because with, 10 games left to go, a couple of weeks left in the season, we know it's not going to be easy, and that's just the standard rule of thumb. If you've grown up in Utah and you've watched the Jazz or you've watched BYU or if you watched Utah, it's just never easy, and the Mammoth now have a very difficult path the rest of the way. There's not going to be any easy nights of rest for fans, and that starts tonight against Washington.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think when you look at last game, especially against the Edmonton Oilers, it's not just an important game and important games moving forward for the boys that wear mountain blue. It's also vital games for the oppositions, too. The Edmonton Oilers trying to improve their position in the Pacific. And a team like the Washington Capitals, who they're taking on tonight, Washington, they're fighting for their playoff lives as well. They've only got 10 games left, and they're currently sitting 6 points out of a playoff position in the East wild card, which is just an absolute dogfight out in the East as it is here in the West. So I think these are the times of the year where you got to rely on your top players, of course, the guys that get paid the big bucks, the guys that have gotten you to this point and have put you in the first wild card spot, but also the leaders and the guys that have played at the most important time of the year. When you look at a guy like Ian Cole, who's won 2 Stanley Cups, Mikhail Sergachev, 2 Stanley Cups as well. So I think those are the kind of guys that'll help get you through it and hopefully clinch the first playoff berth in Utah history and the NHL here in this great state. But it's going to take a lot. You still got enough games left to be able to make some hay and try to improve their position in the playoffs, boys. But right now they're currently 6 points from being outside the cut line, and another huge 2 points tonight.
All right, so let's quantify that a little bit, Nick. The Mammoth sit at 80 points right now. They are 3 clear of Nashville, who's in the second wild card slot, and then another 6 clear of the Kings, who are on the outside looking in. So what kind of clip are we talking about that they need to close with here?
Yeah, I would say in the final 10, I think the number is probably going to be 93 to 95. So you're looking at needing to find a way to get another 12, 13, 14, 15 points from the final 10 games of a possible 20 points. I mean, Nashville is absolutely surging right now. I mean, it's got 5 wins in a row, 7 wins in their last 10. But, the good news is that the teams just below them on the outside looking in, like L.A., they've only got 3 wins in their last 10 games. The Seattle Kraken have really hit a tough stretch here where they've only got 2 wins in their last 10 games. San Jose has just completely fallen off. I thought that was a team that had as good of a chance as anybody to be able to make it, considering the season that Macklin Celebrini has had. But they've really now all of a sudden got a long distance to go if they want to try to sneak into a wild card position, having lost 5 in a row. But to answer the question, I think with 80 points right now, I think if the Mammoth can get to 93 or 94, maybe 95, I think that would be a very comfortable number for them to be able to cement the playoff position. And for those of our newer hockey fans, how it works is if you're in the top wild card position, you get the lesser of the 2 teams that have won the division, the Pacific or the Central. So right now, if the playoffs started today, Colorado Avalanche, 104 points. That's the most in the West. Utah would take on the Pacific Division winners, which right now would be the Anaheim Ducks. So it'll be very interesting to see how everything shakes out in terms of the playoff matchups. But if they can get 6 wins, 7 wins in the final 10 games, that should be enough to be able to get them into the postseason.
Last year, late in the season, we saw Vejmelka play a ton of games in a row as they were trying to make the push. What other types of things might we see, adjustments might we see with only a couple of weeks left to try and give the Mammoth the best chance to make the postseason?
I think it's a terrific question because sometimes you got to play the way that got you here. And I wouldn't expect any major adjustments, to be honest, boys. I think, the Daniil Booth was called up, and so he's out on the ice right now at Morning State. Will he be playing in the lineup tonight? We'll have to wait and see. And so I think as far as personnel goes, barring injuries, Barrett Hayton left last game. It didn't look great. We're still waiting confirmation to see what the timetable is, if he's going to play, if he's not going to play. So I think as far as adjustments goes, that'll probably just be the players going in and out of the lineup. But systematically, this team has put themselves in a great spot because of how they played for the vast majority of the season. And so, yes, I would expect Karel Vejmelka to get the bulk of the starts here in the final 10 games. It wasn't his best game coming off a performance against the Edmonton Oilers where he was pulled after 2 periods. So we'll see how things shake out, of course. But I'm really not expecting any sort of big tactical changes or adjustments in that way because this team has had a really very, very solid season so far. And so continue to play the way that got them here. But it's always going to take a little bit more, a little bit extra, especially considering the rink always seems to shrink this time of the season.
There is, of course, more of the story yet to be written, but how do you think Coach Torney has done this season so far?
He's just actually coming off his coaching his 400th game in the National Hockey League, and look, I think he is the perfect coach for where this group is at right now. Focused on development, focused on details, focused on teaching, but all of that wrapped up in the guise of accountability and sticking to these certain non-negotiables of playing defense, the non-negotiables of sticking within the structure. And, yeah, there's going to be some guys, the top offensive guys, that have a leash and they're able to go off on their own path and off on their own tangent from time to time because, well, they're some of the best offensive players in the league when you think about guys like Schmaltz and Cooley and Gunther and Keller. But I think overall Andre Tourigny has done a spectacular job. And, boys, if you look at Tourigny's numbers over the last bunch of years, it has continually been progress in every statistic, in every team number, whether it be offense or on the defensive side. His teams have always gotten better. And I think the other great part, too, is he knows these players so well by now that he knows the right buttons to push. He knows the certain guys that he can get on. He knows the other guys that maybe need a pat on the back. Other guys need a kick in the rear. So I think he's got a really good feel and a great grip on what works and what doesn't work for this team right now. But I think he has done an excellent job last year and, of course, into this year to put these guys in the best position possible. And look, as a coach, you're there to set the foundation. You're there to let everybody know what the blueprint is. But at the end of the day, it's up to the guys that have the sticks in their hands and the skates on their feet to go out and make something happen. And so I think you give a lot of kudos to the coaching staff and these players for having given the great state of Utah a team to be very excited about this time of the year, of course, but also a team to be really proud of because every time they go on the ice, whether it's away from the Delta Center or here in downtown Salt Lake City, the way that they play for the majority of games, it's an exciting brand of hockey filled with a whole lot of work ethic, which is exactly what you would want.
Nick, we've now seen Michael Hrabel and Caleb Denway sign their early-level contracts or their entry-level contracts in the NHL. Does this mean we're going to see them with the Roadrunners next year? And then what does it mean for their actual NHL future? How quickly might we see them with the Mammoth?
Yeah, that is what you would think the timeline is going to be. And the National Hockey League owners, as well as the Players Association, they're right now trying to do some work on the collective bargaining agreement, which was agreed upon last year, to allow multiple 19-year-old prospects to play in the American Hockey League. Because right now you need to be 20 in order to play in the AHL. And so for a lot of those 18 turning 19 years old and 19-year-old players, pretty much the only opportunity they have to develop at the highest level that they can right now is either major junior or going to college and going the NCAA route. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that hopefully that those terms will be agreed upon in the CBA. And I think that will lead to a lot more players at the 19-year-old range to go and develop playing professional hockey and being closer in terms of the development to their NHL team, and a lot of skill work and a lot of skills coaching and development coaching happens in the American Hockey League level. That's the level where it's about development. It's trying to get these players better. And oftentimes, the vast majority of times, the American Hockey League teams will play very similar, if not the same exact structure to what the NHL club will play as well. So when these guys do eventually play in the big leagues, is that they're not going to be shocked and playing a completely different way. So, yeah, I would expect both of those guys to be playing for the Tucson Roadrunners next year. And in terms of Michael Raubel, what an unbelievable season he had playing for the UMass Minutemen. He could have signed last year, but everybody agreed that an extra year of college was the best route. And look what he did. I mean, he put up legendary numbers for UMass. He was the Hockey East Player of the Year, the Hockey East Goaltender of the Year, and he's a finalist for the best goalie in the entire NCAA with some unbelievable numbers. And so he's been great on the ice, but boys, he completed his degree in 3 years, so just as successful and performative in the classroom as well. So it's great to see both of those guys, him and Caleb Dunoyer, signed, who was last year's 4th overall pick in the draft. And it's safe to say that from the goaltender position on out, the Mammoths are in good hands for a long time to come.
I might want a dummy in goal. I might want an idiot, a guy who's just willing to take pucks off the face. Do I want a genius there?
Hey, if you need any problem solved or anybody to help you through some issues, I'll take my guy who finished his degree in 3 years. But I've met some strange goalies. I've met some very smart goalies. But it's safe to say that goalies are not normal, because most normal people don't want to take 100-mile-an-hour shots sometimes off the cranium. But that's why they're some of the best people, because those guys are always team-focused and team-centric.
Nick, thanks as always. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right, boys. Always a pleasure, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Nick.
That's our buddy Nick Olczyk, part of the Utah Mammoth broadcast.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.